Hello and welcome back to the Forged Alliance for Retard series with your host Nebolowski, bringing you actually a very special first Forged Alliance Forever game, something I've actually not commentated on before. I think I only actually played Forged Alliance myself, but I was sent this replay by a good friend of mine and I thought it was definitely worth casting. Okay, so if we like to call sort of this team over here on the left Team 1 and this team on the right Team 2. The map is Gap of Rohan, I've been told. Again, something all very new to me, but probably not to the rest of you. So we come out here, we meet the teams. At the top left, going a quite magnificent looking light blue, is the Angel of Death. Going Seraphim and going First Land. See all that usual mess of mexes and hydrocarbon. Just below him, going in sort of a lime green colour, is Andrey-z. I'm sorry, Andre, I'm going to drop the Z. You're just going to be Andre for the game. Going UEF, going First Land, and the usual mess of engineers. And in the blue, just below, sort of like a darker Royal Navy blue, is Lyce MK5. I will at some point get better at saying these names, but I'm just going to call him NK5 for the sake of this particular game. And right at the bottom here for Team 1, we have AvJo. Going Aeon, First Land, actually I beg your pardon, First Air. The usual mesh of economy. Springing over the Gap of Rohan, some sort of a Lord of the Rings reference I'm sure. In the purple corner, we have Mashman going UEF. Going First Land, and pretty much replicating what we've seen on the other side. Just below Mash, here we have Groth, going a darker sort of green, also going UEF, and you can see the top two players at the moment pushing their commanders. Just below him we have Random Defeat going great orange colour going Seraphim, and queuing up the greatest number of power generators that I've ever seen. This engineer's got his work cut out for him, definitely. And right at the bottom here, going in Ferrari red, also going Aeon, is a familiar face. It's the Corporation, might have seen in the last replay. Going Aeon red. Okay, so we look at the action, bringing it back up to 0. It looks as if we see kind of a unified front coming out from Team 2 here, pushing all commanders up. From what I've seen of other games on this map, it does seem to be the status quo that you either go all in with your commanders at the front, or you try your hand at doing something slightly different. So at the moment it does look as if Team 2 have a handle on the front. Team 1 not really bothering or wanting to come out of their base. So we knock this up to +3, we can probably see some other tactics developing. Looking as if as well, I mean, these commanders with a huge amount of reclaim in the centre here from the Harbingers and the various other units, it allows and it affords the extra economy at the start of these games to be able to produce better units. It also allows you to sort of upgrade your mech system a little quicker as well. I see a point defense they're going down to prevent some sort of a Tech 1 spam coming in. We sort of scout up here to look at the Angel of Death. It looks as if we got a transport fairly early out here. I'm not entirely sure what transport's going to be in aid of at this moment in time. And a steady stream of Zooies being pushed out from Random Defeat as well. Probably looking to make sure they're not going to get swamped long range by any Lobo fire or anything else. A scout out as well from Izzo. This moment in time doesn't look as if anyone's really wanted to get involved in the middle, having to sort of push it up to +4. Not a great deal of early going on. Also does look as if you look at these sort of specs that happen around the map, the amount of reclaim going on, it doesn't look as if anybody apart from Izzo, the Corporation, and the Angel of Death are wanting to sort of get involved much in the reclaim game. But we do have some Seraphim bombers coming over the middle. Not really sure how much of an impact that's going to make, especially with this Seeker who's just been put down, and looks as if these bombers have just been prioritised to try and get rid of the PD, but it does look like a bit of a wasted opportunity there. Perhaps it would have been better dragging those bombers across to maybe hit some of these mexes that Mashman has at the top here. Ping going down on a couple of these Suis being pushed up, and Groff being quite bold, deciding that he's going to come out of this little protective area here behind the rock, and deciding that he's actually going to start putting up some plasma cannons on the other side. Andrey looking as if he's sensing the danger, and having gone Tech 2 as well, the Triads are putting up a stealth field generator. It's going to make it very difficult for Groff to be able to push really any further than he has done already. A ping going down in terms of assistance, I think Groff has probably realised. Yeah, Corporation probably was the one that put the ping down, having realised that there are Triads, advising his teammate he doesn't really want to push up any further than that. A constant stream of scouts going from Izzo. If we can actually have a look at what Team 1 can see at the moment. They are pretty aware at the moment that, of course, that they have lost the middle, and are aware that there are several commanders in the centre. We flip over to the Corporation's perspective. We are seeing the Zuis being redirected around, actually, from random defeat. We knock it back onto Observer. I don't think those Zuis are going to make it particularly far given the amount of strikers coming into counter, but they will manage to claim a few of these mexes. Only take one, unfortunately, but the great thing about these Zuis is just the deadly accuracy, especially being on the move. Quite an expansion in terms of Angel of Death's base as well, as opposite Mashman not really looking as if he's matching, having put so much into the middle. But we are seeing out, if we slow this down a bit, and I can actually get my zoom in the right place, and that is what those transports were meant for. Where are those transports going to be going? It's the only play of the game. They're going to be dropped just here by this one mass extractor. He's got some bombers coming in as well. I don't know whether the Corporation has seen it. He's got these interceptors. No, he hasn't. He's just pulling those interceptors into the middle with no radar out, and he's going to be quite late. I mean, does Mashman have anything in reserve? He doesn't. He just has build capacity, and this could be a huge blow for Team 2 very early in the game. Mashman not considering that there could be airdrops, and these Zuis aren't going to face any resistance whatsoever. And I beg your pardon, they're not Zuis. We have a selection of engineers. I'm so used to seeing Zui drops happening. They're actually a selection of FAMs. He is getting some Mongoose out now to counter, but what Angel of Death has done is a very smart tactic. What he's decided to do is he's sent in the FAMs early and trying to get rid of these Tech 2 mass extractors, and deciding that he's going to spam up some factories with some FAMs in production as well, and he's only got 3 at the moment, some power generators supporting the third one. But what this is going to do is it's going to have to divert attention away from the front here, which is never handy. And seeing as Andrey and MK have decided that they're going to sort of pin down the middle with a selection of, as I say, strikers and Triads, should be enough for the time being. These Mongoose destroying the remaining FAMs, so we are finally seeing some Zuis out, and it's just the sheer range of the Zuis. Strip down the hit points of buildings if you have enough of them. They're streaming out as well, the radar system coming in. The Mongoose is probably going to have to be dealt with sooner rather than later, just to prevent this build capacity coming down. Now here's a ping down from Team 2 in terms of the assistance, probably coming down from Mashman. And we are seeing a collection of units, a few Auroras and Zuis. It's very difficult to see from this perspective, but you are able to see actually these units are able to traverse over the land. This small gap in the middle there. And most of Mashman's base now having been completely eradicated, I mean his economy's got to be completely ruined. It's just about supporting mass, but his energy is sinking absolutely through the floor. Assistance coming out from probably not realising there is only a few strikers there. Not a great deal of scouting going on from Team 2, and unfortunately the random defeat, having seen his teammates' base being completely eradicated, so I'm going to have to dedicate his own Zoes to getting rid of the proxy base out from Angel of Death. And that really would have been a radar which would have saved him when we do have a secondary drop. This time I'm going to try and have a better look. See what's underneath those transports. For the life of me, I can't. And still with no real air. I mean, these interceptors are just lying down here from Corporation. And that airdrop with an extra set of FAMs, 2 sets of FAMs, with enough micro and movement, are going to be able to get rid of these Zoes from random defeat. And it might be able to afford Team 1 a foothold in which to launch attacks, not just from the middle. And we are seeing some missiles being laid down on random defeat. As I was saying, we're going to be able to see a platform of attacks launch, but it does look as if those Zoes have gotten rid of the drops from Angel of Death. And a few flapjacks is what it was. I've zoomed in quickly there because I thought perhaps there might be tactical missiles coming in. I didn't really want to miss it. But those missiles coming into the mid here, random defeats, and Mashman. Mashman not actually doing a great deal. If we switch back to his economy, he is just about staying in there. But if we compare him to the economy of the Corporation, I mean, with a mass income of, well, having just gone from 83 to 76 compared to 13, it's just not enough to be able to help your teammates in this time. Push it back up to +2. Harassment fire from those flapjacks. Still lingering around the Tech 1 phase from most of the players in Team 2. We have a quick sweep actually of the teams, bringing it back to normal speed. Izzo at the moment upgrading his air factory, T2 HQ air factory there as well. Most of his launch of operations are coming from the front here, pumping out some blazes, probably to defend this particular area here, stop random defeat pushing in the Zoes. Push it back up to +2. MK5 just economising at the moment, looking to get his mexes up to scratch. It looks as if probably out of all of them, Groff, my apologies, Andrey, Groff is on the other side, same green, is the one that's probably holding it together for Team 1, just in terms of pinning with a selection of these triads, buzzkills, preventing some retaliatory flapjack fire. Upgrade being thrown on Groff's commander as well. Still, these transports here lingering. Is he looking to? Oh, it looks as if he's pushing those FAMs up into this little sort of collection area here. Have we got anything in the middle yet that's really of any significance? Not particularly. A few artillery installations is going to put some pressure on Andrey in terms of this forward proxy base. Buzzkill's keeping those flapjacks safe. We spring over to the Corporation's base. He's currently leading on economy. He does actually have some Spectres up as well. Going to be a great amount of harassment, especially to keep this area safe here. And finally, we do see a push. Random defeat heading for his first base. He's not really sensing any resistance down here from MK. Not sure, is that shield going to hold? Probably not under that incredible amount of Zooey fire. Shield buckling. With the amount of point defense that he's got there, these two triads, unfortunately a bit of a wasted attack. Probably would have been better filtering them down here into MK's base instead, rather than throwing them in. As you can see here, the fire coming in on these Auroras from Corporation. Team 2 not filtering when I'm seeing the threat, although it's probably quite difficult to see for them. Probably not, you can't see. There's an assistance ping going down trying to kill this base from Groff. Far better filtering it down here. Maybe filtering it up towards the main base that Andrey has. And some Spectres coming in now. There's the NEAA, there's a sort of a... I don't know whether I can see NEAA in there. Andrey deciding that he's going to try and push them up, but Corporation just surpassing that, bringing it back down to normal time. Going straight for this Tech 2 power generator right at the back. And I believe we have a Ravager out as well. And Team 1 are really going to have to find... they're ecoing very hard at the moment. Going to have to try and find an answer to try and hoist Team 2 out of this centre position. That Ravager fire and those artillery pieces, if we have a very quick look, I'm not sure whose artillery that belongs to. That's Random Defeat's artillery down here, and that is more than enough range to wipe out this entire proxy base at the front. Angel of Death pointing out where is our air cover, and I completely agree with him. Oh, huge hits, and unfortunately UEF shielding is not going to stand up to that sheer amount of attack. Got some Eversongs down here harassing, but it's only a small amount, and finally Random Defeat deciding that he's not going to try and take on the Triads up north, he's going to filter them down south, killing these Evensongs down here. And I think Random, you want to filter them to the left here. We don't really have anything apart from, well, a few pillars. We do have a Mongoose out as well, and again Random deciding that he's going to try and break Andrey's proxy base. It does look like it's pretty much been done though. Some scouting unit done. It looks as if Izzo is deciding that he's going to try and push some units over the hill. And ever since that attack has pretty much left Mashman on the back foot ever since. Commander's still lingering in the middle here. Another attack from Random Defeat, and it looks as if Andrey's pretty much sensed here. There's a move command on Andrey telling him to be pulled back. Angel of Death having gambled perhaps on taking out all this economy from Mashman early on. He's bringing down some... he does actually have, I was thinking for a while, he's not stepped into the game for a while, but with some offense in the mix, that will be certainly more than enough to push back the small contingent of Tech 1 units. Seeing a filtration over from Izzo, that's not going to really have much of an effect on this base, given sort of the Oblivion turrets waiting at the bottom here. They're going to make a land incursion. It needs to be really either up here or fully breaking the middle. I'm not sure whether I would have sent the Optims through here, especially with this sheer amount of Zooey fire. Those Optims are going to be completely wasted. But if we bring it back down to normal speed, I just don't know whether the Optims are going to be able to kill Groth. That's what they were targeting. Groth going down to 3,600. But with no support and just an Ilshava and an Optim coming up behind, it was a gamble worth taking from Angel of Death, but with just 2 or 3 Optims more probably would have been able to do it, but he really should have been moving them so the Zooey fire wouldn't have been so directed. Tech 2 units are certainly not going to break through this amount of PD at the bottom here. We're sort of moving into the stage of the game now where we should start seeing perhaps some experimental units coming out. Yeah, Team 2 is saying it was close. Groth probably should have moved his commander back a little sooner. Now with no bases apart from Izzo's at the bottom here, this huge amount of Tech 1 units again springing out to be met by a handful of Othams and Ilshavas. Knock it up to +3. These amount of units here. Deadly accuracy of those Zoomies, even with a Tech 3 unit like the Otham. So very, very easy. You've got to keep those Othams moving, Angel, otherwise they're going to meet the graveyard sooner rather than later. Angel just about keeping Andrey in the game, having lost that forward base. And that Tech 2 power plant being lost so early on as well from the Spectre fire sent up by Corporation. I'm not particularly sure if Random Defeat is he's deciding that he wants to build anything more. He just keeps spamming out these Tech 1 units. He does have a Tech 2 HQ, but the rest is still relying on a vast majority of Tech 1 units. Coming into a staler part of the game, but we finally see a great choice by MK5, deciding that he's going to be bringing out a Fat Boy to try and clear out the majority of this complete mess at the front here. Obsidian's waiting at the front, but that Fat Boy is going to be able to clear out a lot, especially with the support of a Ythota as well. And I don't know, they made it, probably have seen the Fat Boy fire coming in. I don't know whether the ping's gone down, but he seemed to. They have seen the Fat Boy, but they won't have seen the Ythota coming in. And with the simultaneous advance of all of the Fat Boy being brought back wisely, especially with that amount of obsidians in the mix, but having had such a drastic effect, taking down quite a number of point defences, that Ythota, even if it doesn't break the majority of the defences, the death of the Ythota with that Iron Storm is going to rip apart this huge blob of defence. And I'm going to try my very, very best to track the Fat Boy and the Ythota's progress. Oh, and the first ejection from the game! It looks as if World's Commander was caught napping by the Ythota. And Mashman making an absolute run for it. The Ythota not actually taking any damage from the Commander whatsoever. And that Fat Boy being now chased down by the stream of Tech 1 units, but that Ythota's really made a huge amount of damage. The whole middle has just collapsed under the strain. Random Defeat's Commander making a break for it. That Fat Boy being all the way back. I can't see this stream of units actually being of any use anymore. If we go back to the centre here and follow the Ythota, I'm not sure whether Team 2 have any answer for it. Corporation with full share being on as being gifted Groth's base. And it looks as if Corporation as well, he's going to stare down. This is pretty balls to the wall stuff, and a few overcharges. Is it going to be enough? It is. Now Ythota going down, Corporation making a run for it. And my ears are absolutely ringing. Thank goodness Random Defeat deciding he's going to hurl a few overcharges in to deal with that Ythota. The Fat Boy is still lingering around the left hand side of the field, and unfortunately Groth being taken out of the game in about 27 minutes 30 odd seconds. That Iron Storm now has completely eradicated that advantage Team 2 had in the middle. Corporation's Commander and Random Defeat's Commander being brought back inside of that Fat Boy encroaching on the middle. Mashman's Commander just full on deciding that he's going to be brought all the way back up here. And a few restorers being brought out by Corporation. We've not seen a great deal from Izzo yet. He has a few restorers himself. We start seeing an emissary. That is why we've not seen a great deal from Izzo recently, is that he's trying to put up an emissary inside of his base. And to deal with the Fat Boy, Corporation deciding that he's got to bring up a GC. He's got a few restorers as well to try and deal with the simultaneous air threat and land threat. So the contingent of Titans being brought up by MK. Corporation saying that the Fat Boy is closing. I'm really not sure, with the lack of scouting, whether or not T1 have seen the GC. They really should have by now. I flip over to Andrey's perspective. They have seen the GC, so that Fat Boy is turning around. But not quickly enough. The ping is going down on him. Reprioritization to hit that GC as it encroaches. I really wouldn't recommend having those Titans engaging it without the support of the Fat Boy. It's a bit of a mistake by Team 1, and MK having all of those Titans shredded with the support of Harbingers from Corporation as well. Restorers being brought in a haste to try and deal with that GC is going to kill that Fat Boy. And it does look as if the Fat Boy is going to go down. I'm not sure whether that emissary from AvJo is a great idea. It's never going to be finished. He has taken away prioritization to bring out some Harbingers. I'm fairly sure it's going to be too late. I'm not sure whether these restorers are going to lay on enough damage to be able to affect that GC enough. If we switch it back up to Corporation's view as well, it's on a rank of veterancy. And the more of these Percivals, Mongoose that he's filtering forward are going to help rank up that GC's veterancy. Oh, but a lack of micro means that those Percivals looks as if with a combination of that and the Ravager fire, it isn't going to go much further. But that GC keeping Team 2 in the game, having lost the middle. And this bank of restorers being brought over. Where are they going? They're just being moved towards MK's base. Very little evidence. We do have a sneaky attack here from Angel of Death over to Mashman, but I'm not really sure that's where the threat is coming from. Random defeat, asking Corporation to find the commander. Still seeing these Zooies being filtered up to the top here. Bring it back up to +2 again. I'm not really sure with a few Ravagers, selection of Triads being put up, and all of these Ravagers down here from NK are going to do a land attack much good. I was seeing another Euthota out from Angel of Death. Ping going down for Corporation to kill it with his restorers, and we are seeing Izzo getting involved in the ASF game, but they are tanky units, restorers. They're not going to be taken down quickly. Corporation is bringing them back. The Harbingers probably being prioritised. Oh, no, they're not. Of course, the Euthota are going to be able to outrange those Harbingers. Just scouting around the screen of my eyes at the moment to try and see. It looks as if construction's resumed on that emissary. Whether it's going to be built, I doubt it. And the air coverage from those restorers now being brought to deal. We have another Euthota in construction over here to deal with the Euthota that is coming into the middle. I think he has, I don't know whether he's prioritised, he should be better moving that Euthota into the middle here. I installed a few good hits on random defeat, but it won't be enough. And some other restorers being brought in here from Izzo. But it looks as if Corporation has more of a handle on the air game than Izzo does. I think it's probably going to be down to that emissary at the end of the day. I can't see if Corporation, I don't think he's gambled on anything too outrageous. filtering your economy into something that extravagant when you have very little defense up here. I'm not sure whether it's a great idea. You can see the drastic effect it has. It's looking nearly minus 500 mass. And you can see the build rate of something like an emissary is just absolutely nothing. And those restorers, we bring it back up to speed. A few pieces of flak, but Andrey doesn't have a shield on that commander, and I cannot see a way out with that amount of coverage. And it does look as if Andrey is going to be ejected out of the game at 33 minutes, and down he goes with very few of those restorers biting the dust. A few lingering down here to try and deal with the incursion of off-thems. Angel of Death still trying to finish off Mashman, who's not really been in this game for the majority of it. Mashman congratulating Corporation on his defeat. Given that Goroth was ejected out of the game, we are seeing a Fat Boy given the tech share from Corporation as well. And the last of those restorers cleared out. Another Ythota out from Angel of Death. And it looks as if Corporation's going to be eating a burnt steak dinner so he could finish his opposite team. Another Fat Boy being brought out from MK. The problem being though that Random Defeat just doesn't have the tech to be able to deal with other units coming in from Team 1. We knock it up to +2. A redirection of these Tech 1 units. We are seeing maybe a mix. I can't see anything more than that. No, not really. There's a few Hopper Tanks and Ilshivis in there, but those Fat Boys and Redeemers, oh not Redeemers, my apologies. I'm pretty sure there's some Harbingers down here, so you're going to be able to deal with that. Yeah, another Ythota being brought in, we're bringing it back to +1. Huge amount of reclaim in the middle there. I wouldn't recommend pushing the Fat Boy up Corporation, it's not going to deal very well with Ythota fire. Random Defeats still lingering around the middle. Reprioritization from that Ythota to kill the Fat Boy. I'm not sure with all of the Restorer fire. The Fat Boy is going to go down, but it doesn't look as if Random is going to feel the pinch at all. He is under a lot of fire, but pretty tanky commander. 24,000. Tanking the damage again. Some ASF scouting from Corporation. Another Ythota. Probably sensing actually Angel of Death's frustration here that in fact they don't really have the air control to pop up something like an experimental bomber. That's the reason he's probably churning out these Ythotas to sustain the middle. We are seeing finally that Ythota out from Random Defeat. And those Restorers, where are they going at the moment? I can't see the move command on them. A few ASFs lingering, but I don't think that's going to be enough. And we have a bit of split screen action going on here, so we're going to go to the north to follow both bits of action. Angel of Death's commander, a shield drops, and a strategic missile launcher being brought down. Ythota from Random being brought down. I'm not particularly sure why Corporation's not going for Angel's commander. A chain reaction, of course, from that Tech 3 power generator is going to cause a lot of devastation in his base. With the Tech 3 anti-air defense, it looks as if it's just a crippling mission and not an ejection mission. Oh! I will say that is going to be a huge economy loss for AvJo. Having said that, he is still a far in the positive. It would have been a good idea for corporation perhaps to concentrate on a few of the mass extractors. Two fat boys and another Ythota coming in. Random's commander sitting pretty. There's nothing in that mix at the front which is going to be able to repel an attack of that, that magnitude. Excuse the Star Wars expressions. Corporation keeping Team 2 in the game. You can see the colour difference, this huge blob of red down here in comparison to the faded orange and purple at the top. And despite the AA at the back here, those restorers are going to push back those fat boys. Just as if Corporation has scouted the fact that AvJo at the bottom here has filtered that emissary finally finished. Perhaps we'll be able to give Team 1 a bit more of a punch through the centre to have another player helping them. All these support commanders at the back here, looking as if they have a little private mission. I'm pretty sure that is an upgrade on all of them. So it looks to me as if Corporation's got a mission planned for those 5 support commanders in his base. Their incursion coming in from the fat boys. Another filtration of Elshivas over the canyon. And there's restorers again coming in on this fat boys. Few Titans, AA coming in, skyboxes to repel. I don't see those fat boys really making it much further than the centre rocks. That's the first fat boy going down. I think I'm pretty sure that's both fat boys going down. And it's just a sheer devastation of how powerful a group of restorers can be. See the prioritization of that from AvJo. Where is that emissary's fire going? I'm not too sure actually where that emissary is firing on the commander. Ping going down on the commander as well. Accuracy of it pretty spot on. I'm not sure whether Random Defeat has seen the threat coming from AvJo's emissary at the bottom here. Another fat boy coming makes his try and sort of maybe repel stream of Zooey fire. I'd have recommended from Random to really needed to tech up. Corporation does look as if he's carrying most of the efforts. Having said that, we do finally have Mashman getting involved, deciding that he's going to take revenge on the Angel of Death for the early drop at the start. A few of them are going to strategic bomb and kill off those Titans. It's finally nice to see that Mashman wants to sort of get involved and perhaps launch a few attacks of his own. As it stands, really just this filtration of units from Random Defeat. I am curious to see where the support commanders have got to. We have missed.
Strategic launch detected.
Oh, we are finally seeing the first strategic launch of the game. Angel of Death just look as if he's going to throw in the towel. Corporation sending the nuke over. Is there a nuke defense? I can't see it. And that nuke landing in the heart, and that is going to be a huge hit. And AvJo ejected from the game at minute 43. I was not expecting that at all from Corporation. I hadn't spotted the nuke launcher in his base. One of the restorers earlier taking out some of the strategic missile defense. And now Angel of Death having to manage 3 bases given the fact that all share is on, and MK is going to have to pick up the slack. A couple of fat boys, but again, those restorers are able to tank the ASF fire and actually repel a lot of ASFs, given the fact that they are anti-air gunships. Sorry, it looks to say that MK is going to lose another 2 experimentals. In my opinion, I don't know how this ends, but I'm going to say in my opinion it does look as if Team 1's downfall may have come from the south. We are seeing a few strategic bombers perhaps in an attempt to snipe Mashman. If we bring it back down to -2, maybe -1. Where are those strat bombers going to be going to? It does look as if they are heading for Mashman's commander. Mashman sensing the danger, and oh, huge hit with the Mashman just surviving. I have to give him credit. He has survived remarkably well. He's just lingering. I'm pretty sure the strap bombers are going to get him this time. And Mashman ejected out of 45 minutes. A fair play to him. He has stayed in the game despite having pretty much his entire base eradicated. That pretty much evening the odds between both of the teams. Corporation, touche indeed. If we knock it back onto Corporation, I'm gonna have to look. I'm just so awful with icons. That is a strategic missile launcher, veteran T5, of course, given the amount of kills he's got. He's got no assistance on it though. But the next missile is half built. His economy is suffering as well. He must be filtering it into something. I can't tell what. He's got a few of these support commanders on build duty. And again, restorers just lingering over this base, killing off the extra mass. Now the thing is, Angel of Death would have inherited quite a significant amount of mass from both of these bases. So it's going to be in Team 2's interest to get rid of these proxy bases, just prioritise some of these really weak Seekers, Transcenders, and sweep up the remainder of Izzo's base. I think Random Defeat really desperately needs to get involved. He's still pumping out the same Zuis and Ilshav as he was probably about 20 to 25 minutes ago. And these restorers are wrecking from base. Angel of Death wishing he'd perhaps been on the other side. Both players actually helping their teams quite significantly. Rain of artillery fire down on these poor skyboxes. And still, just the sheer amount, 6,600 health for every restorer. It's just a ludicrous amount of health for them, bringing it back down to just +1. Boom! Goes another skyboxer. Fat Boy's just lingering around the centre. I can't see, I mean, we've got a few Arbingers being brought up from the middle here. Please excuse, it's gone up to +4. Sort of dragging this contingent of units in. I can't see, unfortunately, it making much of a difference, especially with the Fat Boy fire coming down. Here's the thing with the Fat Boy, as far as an experimental goes, it's pretty useless against anything face to face, but just the sheer bombardment of one of them is just fantastic. And another huge amount of restorers, some air scouts going over Corporation's base. Might I missed something in... I don't think I have. I was thinking there's a strategic missile defense. No strategic missile launches. Few strap-on was lingering around. That fat boy going down. I can't advise Corporation sending in those restorers with that amount of flares. Oh, bit of a waste. And that Galactic Colossus is going to be the issue now. A reprioritization up from random as well. They're deciding that they're going to go for Angel of Death's commander, which I probably would say was wise, but I think it's going to be that GC that is going to be the problem, and it looks as if that is it from MK. He is just had enough, and my heart does go out to Angel of Death in this game, having now to support all 4 places.
Strategic launch detected.
Strap missile out again from Corporation, having seen it half finished just shortly ago. Where is that missile going to be heading? It does looking like the trajectory. I don't know whether that was the smartest of locations for Corporation. I'm pretty sure the anti-nuke's going to see it. But as I said to you previously, that GC is going to be the end of it. Angel of Death deciding there's absolutely no point in staying in the game. Corporation wins, as well as, I say, random defeat being in it as well. Not qualifying for an epic, I'm afraid, folks, be at the 50-minute mark. As always, as I said in my previous replay, I am looking for... I've decided to have a mixture of Forged Alliance Forever replays and just usual replays. I've had some really fantastic replays into me so far. I'm looking to cast a couple. But if you'd like to be shoutcasted, please leave a comment. I'd be really more than happy to do so. Have a look over it. And please rate, subscribe, and I will see you next time.